Okay, so I'm going to ask a few of these backstory questions for you and see if that lets me get a better picture here. And what's probably going to happen is as the action starts, you will be, we will think about this. I don't know if you know the group right now or if we're going to have you just come into the nonsense here in a second. So, how did you get your powers? Do you have an idea for that?
I was thinking that I'm not sure if I want to be male or female, but I was thinking they were born with it.
Okay. And are we in love with the hacking idea?
Not in love with it. I like the gadgets idea part of it.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Um, Teleportation. Because the thing is, I'm looking at hacking and going, you were born with it, eh? That's interesting. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Are you the brain?
but gadgets appeals to me and hacking possibly. Teleportation. Are you feeling techie about this?
In a way, yeah.
Okay. I've always the reason I ask is because when you start talking about like, hey, I can teleport and I can do this, and I've been able to do it since I was born. I start thinking some god's baby that they were like, hey, look, offspring, and then they were like, and I'm gonna fuck off out of here. Bye.
I love neglected demigods. It's such good shit.
But that doesn't have to be what it is. It was just a thought. So something you didn't like get toxic soup dumped on you and then you could teleport. It was something that you've kind of been able to do. What do you do for fun around this city? Let me give you a little bit of background real quick in case Jamie didn't tell you. So Halcyon City is on an island in the middle of Lake Erie on the border, international waters, which these don't actually exist in the real world, between Canada and the U.S. And it's sort of a Geneva, like Lake Geneva, except it's actually a lake, place where they get like sort of diplomats from all over the place, and it's also been a place where a lot of folks with meta abilities, superpowers, and that kind of thing gather together. The two big, well-known super teams that are here aren't exactly natives per se, but it's Canada and the US kind of flexing and saying, we need to have a super team here. So we have established a presence. And there's a US team called the Exemplars, and they're very US. And then there's a Canada team called Les Patriots, who are very much Quebec. Jamie's given a big thumbs down, not so much because of the Quebec thing, but because they allowed a speedster on the team. Others of you may have different reasons for disliking a largely Quebecoid team. So I'll leave it. I'll leave that as an exercise for the listener. So that's kind of the city. And actually, if you're in roll 20, I am looking at part of the city as it's currently snow locked because, as we all know, Canadian towns that are on islands don't know how to do snow removal. I'm looking at you, Victoria. So going back to the previous question, what do you do for fun? Does anybody who is not waiting on this need any? Are they missing any moves on their play sheet or anything like that?
You know what? I'm missing a role that I haven't missed yet. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing a success.
That is between you and your dice and your gods, who
My gods.
who apparently dislike you intensely, or rather think you are funny.
I am funny, but that's beside the point.
Also, notably on Stick's character, Brooklyn Maple Syrup flavor, I will point out that you have managed to do what I don't think anybody in any of my mask games has actually managed to do ever. You got a point of potential, and you only need 5 to level up. You got a point of potential before you ever actually played. You are starting session 2, having skipped session 1, and you already have a point of XP. You can thank Josephine for that. So,
if you want the story, ask her for it. She did this to you.
Sort of.
I have 3.
That's because your dice are terrible.
Oh, it's so real. So very real.
Okay. There's a lot of talking going on here. The problem is that I could start playing while Brooklyn was figuring stuff out, except the first person that I have to mess up is Jamie, and she's talking to Brooklyn.
Right, because isn't she standing in front of the guy who's about to go kaiju?
Kaiju, yep. And she is also, technically speaking, 20 minutes in the future. Oh, hey, actually, there is something I can start with. Here we go. Hey, Liam and Stick, you guys both tell me why you weren't looking at your text messages for the last like 2 hours or 3 hours or so, and now you have finally. Like, what were you doing? It's about, what time is it? Noon? Let's say it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You haven't looked at your phone since about 10 o'clock this morning. Take turns. What were you doing that meant that you are just now looking at your phones? Why no phone?
I was completing my welding certificate for my trade school.
You were in the middle of like exams. I got it.
I had a
Oh, good God.
Okay, we switched to Kiernan's phone.
That sounds okay. Yay.
Okay, so Dal firstly had gymnastics practice for 3 hours in the morning.
Sure.
And she had her phone turned on do not disturb because she had a biochem exam.
So you guys are good, attentive studentia who aren't doing stuff. I am going to put a image into the game chat that's just up above a little bit. That is when you take your phone off, you get like a series of bzz, 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 bzz thing. So if you look at Discord, and I apologize, you know, I'm going to keep doing it on Discord, but if you go to the little game chat thing, you got to kind of look at it. Is it coming in sideways or something? Yeah, because your phone's sideways. That's okay. Both of you pretty much have basically the same message. And I will, where else can I put it?
Yes, we can see it.
Shit, Kaiju, come save my day. Fuck!
Now that's actually, I screwed up the thing because it should say, like Liam's, yours basically says like, it's tagged as Chris something. Like it literally says Chris hyphen something, like whatever. Dal, I don't know what you tagged her, but it came from Chrysolophus, who was that wing chick that was in the fight that you guys were in before with the stuff and the things and the guy with the poison and the frog licking the nanites and all that. Yeah, but she apparently is basically it's interesting to look at because not all the messages are the same. The typos are different. That's important to understand. The typos are different depending on each message. There are always typos, but they change. So she didn't copy paste it. Except for the last one is definitely like that came in kind of like as a group thing that she just sort of blasted to both of you because holy shit, Kaiju, bake my day. And then that's all you got.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Okay. So we will come back to what do you do in a minute here. Jamie, how you doing? Okay.
You know, I'm doing great. I just went 20 minutes in the past and I realized who the fuck the Kaiju is, so I'm doing great.
So we are, I'm going to apologize in advance for this kind of poor picture here as it's just, I'm giving you well, you know what? It's a news conference. I'm not going to even put the picture up in there. Don't worry about it. It's a news conference. It's up on the top floor of the Center for, I will move this over to the Center for International Diplomacy. It's up on the top floor of the Center for International Diplomacy as shown in the roll 20 on the page. And you were going in there because there was going to be a kaiju attacking, and the main diplomat, the elderly gentleman probably in his early 50s, who, I say elderly, my age, whatever, started to have some sort of attack thing, physical discomfort. That was about when Charlie figured out, oh shit, the kaiju doesn't eat the ambassador, the kaiju is the ambassador. You are looking at a room full of panicking journalists or confused journalists, a mix of one or the other.
I have that +1, right?
Yep. So you have a room full of semi-panicking journalists, some other ambassadors up on the stage, the other guy who's like doing this thing, a sudden burning desire to save everybody, which should be super easy. What do you do?
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Well, I guess fuck.
Turn the whole floor into a portal except for where the ambassador, I say bad guy, poor guy, except for where the ambassador is at. Just turn the rest of the floor into a portal and drop him through it
I'm sure that'll work.
into the freezing cold of the ocean, of the lake, winter lake.
Yeah, that's all he needs is a cool ice bath.
Okay, so if I were to remove the people from
Yeah.
this situation,
Yep.
would that count as defend?
Yes.
Okay. So,
You are absolutely protecting them from whatever the hell this guy's about to do. We know what he's about to do because you've seen 20 minutes
And-
into the future because you came from there.
Right. And I don't want to travel them in time because that'll create a paradox probably.
There's a tricky bit here that you need to consider, but keep going. You want to get them out of the room.
Theoretically, if I just like take them back to the park where I was at, like do the exact same thing but without the time.
The park.
Yeah, that I was just at.
Yeah.
They'll all be safe, and I'll be there waiting for the cat when he gets there.
I'm sure that's gonna go perfectly.
Like I just 2 birds with 1 stone.
There is, you know what? Let's just roll and see how this goes. Because
I
there
have
is.
zero concerns about this situation. I
There
have
is-
zero concerns.
I have a picture of the
I
park.
don't know what you're talking about. I think this is gonna go great. It's not gonna fuck anything up at all.
I have a picture of the park up for those the little amphitheater thing over the little stage up over here. Isn't it? This is important because you, Chris and Cassie are both currently near the park, hovering in the air, possibly being arrested or verbally
Or at least last 20 minutes in the future.
verbally detained. There's some considerations here that you may want to consider, but
You can't verbally detain fabulousness, okay? He can try.
Okay. Jamie, why don't you do a defend roll? That would be savior, and you get when it asks for your modifiers, you can put a 1 in there because you get a 1 of the extra thing that you did before, plus your savior, which is already a 3. Bloop, I heard the beep. The beep is a 9. Even with a +4, your dice are like, I deny you perfection. All right, so when
we
you
should,
are
read the move for the class.
we're reading the move for the class. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to ping out the basic moves out to everybody. So we're going to show them to the players so they pop up. And we are going to talk about defend. When you defend someone or something from an immediate threat, roll plus savior. On a hit, you keep them safe and you get to choose one from the list below. On a 7 to 9, it costs you. You can expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. Those are your options. I would like to remind you.
You do have to pick one.
I would like to remind you at this juncture that while it seems really cool to go straight back to the park without the time jump part, it occurs to you just as you're about to do it that if you do that, you will meet yourself. And that may be a problem because of the aforementioned paradox. Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
So you might want to have to pop them forward about 20 minutes because there's the possibility of a paradox if you move them forward 20 minutes with no intervening gap, but there is definitely going to have a paradox if you run into yourself before you decide to do the thing that you're about to do.
I mean, they're probably all dead, right, in 20 minutes in the future, so there should be no paradox, right?
You definitely are not, yes, you should not meet them having survived elsewhere, especially since you're taking them out of the time stream and putting them someplace else. They won't be there to be killed. You're literally changing just the small issue of roughly 40 people missing each 20 minutes worth of the unbreakable stream of time throughout the cosmos.
God, I fucking hate time travel.
I love it. I think it's the best thing ever, and I would like to send a small gift to Jamie just to say thanks. All right, so
it's a little rough, but I think we all know what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm going to expose myself to danger.
That sounds delicious. I would like to. You can select from the list down below, though. You can add team to the pool, which may be a little bit weird because we don't actually have team established yet, but you can feel free to do that. You can take influence over somebody that you protected, which we haven't really said who that might be, but you could certainly do that because somebody there might be important. Or you can clear a condition. I don't remember if you have one, but if you do, you could get rid of one. You do have a condition? What's the condition right now that you have?
How the fuck did you get a condition?
She's Jamie.
I'm afraid.
Of course she does.
I have a condition from last time.
It's like, how did you get damage? We haven't fought anything yet. Like, that's kind of...
I'm pretty sure I have a condition from rolling for the cat or something like that.
No, it was when the kaiju was like...
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the bouncing in between this and then just being like, so Brooklyn, Colorado flavor, what do you do for fun?
Okay, so...
How does this look? Tell me how this looks, because what do you do to get everybody? Is it an individual portal for every single person? Is it literally the whole floor opens up, or what?
I say, stop, wait, and then it's a huge, big portal that's like kind of like, the like little character guide that you created. I really like the way the portal looks.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
How it like shoots out, but it's like wrapping and weaving around everybody until
Okay.
it's circling around them, except for the kaiju. Clear distinction.
So it just kind of
And
schloops
then-
everybody up.
Yeah, and then we go
There's no
back to exactly where I was. I guess right to where the speedster was
I mean,
when he
There's no
said,
map.
"What are you doing?" 'Cause
what?
to me, that's 20 minutes
Yeah,
back and 10,
Yeah,
right?
you're
It was
basically-
10 stories down and 4 blocks over. And
20 minutes
and
in the future. 21 minutes, maybe,
Uh,
like 20 and a half. So you're not actually going to run.
right, yeah.
That
And
is
then,
going to be great. That is
Because that's when I took myself out, because we don't want to wrap around to when I was still there. So then,
And for those of you who are wondering what picture she's talking about, the miniature, it's in the game chat, so you can look at her little portal thing. Imagine those shooting out of her hands and wrapping around everybody and slurping them up into a dimensional and time.
I'm going to take
vortex.
influence. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're going to take influence over somebody because you don't want to clear that condition. That would be crazy. Why would you want to clear a condition?
It's not like there's a
Right,
fucking
that's
kaiju
stupid.
happening or anything. No reason why you'd want to directly engage.
Okay.
Jamie, your logic is flawless, and I appreciate your mental fortitude it takes you to discover these hidden truths.
We are going to weave all of this together with some lovely character generation as we go here. So this is really good. So I'm going to say Hannah because fuck it. What do you do for fun?
Okay, for fun, I make gadgets and I experiment them.
What
Basically, he spends his free time doing that.
are these the kind of, when you say experiment, this is like I use them around the city because it amuses me and they do funny things?
In a way, yeah.
Do you think of yourself as a superhero? Do you daydream about possibly being a superhero? Or are
I
you just
think he doesn't know he can be one until he, can be or becomes one. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does. Tell me though, there's somebody in your life, not in the team, but somebody in your life who is who A, knows what you can do, and B, is absolutely convinced and is like your biggest, I am telling you, you would be they're just like your biggest cheerleader for absolutely being convinced that you should be a superhero. Who is that?
Yes, it's my best friend who I'm in love with.
I don't know what the hand up means, Kaylee. Just that you're
I'm raising my hand.
in a sign of solidarity, or because you have a question for the class?
I have a request.
You have a what?
I have a question.
Oh, you have a question? Yes.
First of all, that's fucking awesome. I love that shit. Second of all, where character sheets? I only see mine.
Yes, because I hit everybody's because I think it'll be funnier if you move people's labels when you can't see them because you thought it would be so cool. So, what's the name of your friend who you are in love with?
So it's Ashley.
Ashley?
Also,
Okay.
she has some other stuff about it that she needs to say.
Okay, continue.
Oh, yeah. So I was thinking that the reason he found out she was a superhero was she was in danger, and when he went to save her, he couldn't because he wasn't fully able to use his powers yet, and then a different superhero saved her. I don't know.
Okay, so clarifying, there's a lot of pronouns in there. You were going to save your friend and you couldn't quite get it all locked down and somebody else saved your friend.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Cool. But they're convinced. Are they why you, if you were presented with the opportunity to be a hero, are they why you would give it a shot?
Yes.
Because they might like it. They might think it was cool. Okay, cool. Cool. Your powers are messy, deceiving, or frustrating. I mean, to others. Back on, we're here. We're near the park, and hanging over the park, looking epic, is Chrysolophus. Looking slightly less epic as she is currently dangling from Chris's arms by the armpits is Cassie. And in front of them, between them and where they were headed, is Patrol, who I will get in here since probably not everybody else saw Patrol. So Patrol is this guy. I'm going to put him up on roll 20. He's not this big. This is not to scale.
Bitch.
Stop drawing on him. I'm just telling you that now. So Patrol is kind of hovering, like right there in front. And he's still on the dang like loudspeaker thing while he's talking to you guys, even though he's like 10 feet away from you, and telling you, we do not require your assistance. We will take care of this. In the background of this, about 4 or 5 blocks down, is, I'm going to slide back over here so I can properly set the scene. The CID is like visible from this park, right? So you can see it. It's basically a straight shot down one of the streets, and the top of it is like rubble and dust and all this other stuff because this thing has crawled out of the roof, burst out of the roof, I should say.
That got significantly worse. Jesus fucking Christ.
So that has come out
Yeah.
of this thing like a birthing egg, and he's like, this is happening, like Patrol is like, we do not require your assistance, and back behind it, like back here, that's about the scale, there's the tower with the at the top of the thing, and he's clearly trying not to turn around and see what the hell is going on, and you're like, so
Are you sure about that?
and that sound is like, pick your favorite special effects sound from like Godzilla roaring out his rage against the heavens, and that's happening.
Don't you have a soundboard?
I don't think I have a Godzilla screaming soundboard. I mean, do you really want me to find one? Chris and/or Remedy, what are you trying to do here? What are you trying to do? I don't want to say move names.
So, you want me to just hit him? I'm not gonna hit him. He's in the way. I mean, I have a move.
Wait. I want to be clear about this. Remedy is dangling from your arms and kind of quietly going, just hit him. Or is it Josephine? Who is the devil on the left-hand shoulder?
Says that she says it as a person, not as a character.
I see. I just wanted to know specifically who was like...
I do have a fancy fun move called Cold and Cruel. When you shut someone down, roll plus superior. So I can inflict a condition or make them lose influence over you, or I could take influence over them. I could do that, or we could just as easily roll provoke. That could work too.
Let me look at your move here.
No, we can't just fly over him. He's on a hover thing.
Well, you could try to just get past him. I mean, that's also a possibility. Is just say bucket and overcome.
Is someone on the ground?
So they were going down the street and he kind of swung past him. He like pulled him over. Literally, he's got flashers on his shoulders. Like he literally pulled them over. So these two are basically sort of hanging in the air, facing off against each other because he kind of pulled them around. It's like, we do not need your help, citizen. It's like,
do I look like a citizen?
They're in the street, right alongside the park, in the air. Chris's wings kind of slowly doing this thing. Options, as they have been laid out just now, is punch Patrol, I guess. Hit him with your razor sharp glass wings, because that absolutely no consequences from that in the future. Try to talk him down.
Needles harder to find.
Try to push him. Try to get him to back down. Cold and cruel when you shut someone down. This could count as shut someone down. Like, listen, you don't even have authority here. You're just a U.S. citizen yourself. Okay, citizen. Yeah, you're one of the exemplars, but you don't get to boss people around this. You could do the shutdown thing 100% and roll that. If you do that, you roll superior. You can either inflict a condition on them, make them lose influence over you, super handy, take influence over them, and then on 7 to 9, you got to make choices.
You know me. If Jamie's thing is hating speedsters, my thing is having influence over Patrol.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Or you can do a provoke and say, like, I want to force him to back down.
I don't think I can do provoke because it says when you provoke someone susceptible to your words. I'm not sure Patrol is susceptible.
Probably not. He doesn't know either one of you at this point. So
I think I have to do my special little fancy thing.
All right. That sounds about right. When you shut someone down, let's hear it. What are you doing? To do it, you got to do it. So what's this sound like?
When you shut someone down, roll plus superior. On a 10 plus, you either inflict a condition on them, make them lose influence over you, or take influence over them.
Not what I meant. I want to hear
I know
what
that's not what you meant, but I'm getting there.
All right, you're getting there. All right.
I think Chris, so she's gonna adjust Remedy so that now she is holding her like a baby in one arm. so that she can pull out her phone. And Chris starts live streaming. It's like, hey guys, we're in the middle of, whatever this, the
This.
downtown. Yeah, we're in the middle of this, panning to the fucking kaiju. And what a shocker! A cop is standing in the way of real justice. I'm just saying that, no, both me and Remedy here have slightly darker skin tones than normal, so maybe if we were a little bit whiter superheroes, we'd be able to make the cut to save lives.
My Christ. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I
You
don't
have-
want to make any assumptions, but I'm just trying to get in there and help people, and you want to pipe up? Yeah, get in there. Get in there. Get it. Lay it on him. Get in there.
I just want to note that you just tricked Remedy into talking on your live stream. I feel like I should give you a potential just for that, but whatever what do you got, Josephine?
Keeping in mind my character is Brazilian, now putting on a very thick Brazilian accent saying, I thought coming to America meant I had more opportunities to escape the injustice I used to face back in Brazil.
Okay, so let it be known that if it becomes necessary, Josephine can spend team to help you. We'll talk about that mechanic here in just a second after you roll superior. Yossi, you may not need to, and this is an important thing. The way that the assistance thing works, basically you can spend, there's points that are sitting in a pool that you can spend to help people, and you just have to basically narrate how you're helping. But you don't need to until we know whether or not you need to. The cool thing about you, usually the rule is like this. I'm going to help. Okay, you spend one team, you get +1. You have a special ability that lets you spend 2 team to give people +2. So you are better at helping other people than other people are. So what that means is that Kaylee can really blow this roll, and you could still pull it out of the frying pan for her. If she doesn't blow the roll,
I hope to God that I do not blow this.
This
roll.
is superior roll, so you're adding 2. But go ahead and hit superior. All patrol does is like, that's not. Oh my God, a 13. Okay. Mechanically, we actually only track successes up to 12. So.
Okay, so on a 10+, you can either inflict a condition on them, make them lose influence over you, or take influence over them. This is a build-up. I don't think I want him to not have influence over me first before I take influence over him. So I'm just gonna take that away.
Okay.
I'm just gonna assume however hard he fumbles with whatever comes next is just gonna make me be like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna listen to what you have to say.
So he goes from, he's like, kind of doing the thing, and all this is happening, and you see him all you can see kind of is his face, like his lower part of his face, and he kind of comes up closer, like he just kind of glides up. Are you sure that's what you want to be doing?
Oh, and now he's trying an intimidation tactic, guys. Wow, making it seem like it's my decision. Okay. I see you. Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. Okay.
Ma'am. And he just turns and flies up.
We went from ma'am, this is a Wendy's, to ma'am, this is your castle. I love it.
All right. Patrol has flown off, cleared the sage, Kaiju, and Bradley Reed. I like that name. Bradley Reed. You're watching closely. When you mislead, distract, or trick someone, roll +superior. On a hit, they're fooled, at least for the moment. Cool. And you take 3? You got 3 moves? Oh, yeah, you do. Troublemaker, when you help a teammate through destructive criminal or rule-breaking actions, you get them a +2 instead of a +1. And Bradley will also be good at helping people as long as they're fucking stuff up. Nice. I don't care what you think whenever you reject another's influence at +1. Lovely. All right, Bradley, you just watched this sort of flying. Well, you saw the picture up on Roll20. Wings like stained glass windows. Totally shut down a cop and get him to fly off by live streaming his whatever. So depending on your opinion about authority figures, they may have just become your 2 favorite people. Elsewhere, Liam, you're back on Victory Mesa, which I don't immediately have a picture for, but it's a higher part, literally a higher part of the city. It's kind of like you have to like switch back up to drive up into this area. It's a little bit more sparsely populated. It's also the home of Victory Mesa College, which is where you were doing your stuff. The nice thing about Victory Mesa is that it's higher, so you can see out over the rest of the city. Some days not so much because clouds. Right now, you can kind of see the CID and something moving on the top of it at about like King Kong size. So whatever the text message from Chris may or may not be, it is definitely not bullshitting you about. It may not be a kaiju, but it's visible from a distance away.
Shit, okay.
What you doing?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
It's higher. Is it downhill?
So yeah, it's definitely downhill from where you are, for sure. It's also, as I mentioned before, snowy, because there has been snow, and that's also a thing. So say more about why you were asking.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is pull my balaclava out of my pocket, put that on to start.
Gotcha.
And I'd like to find like a street sign or something that I could shape a little bit more into a sled and start hauling ass on the sled down to the kaiju.
I like this. I like all of this. What's a good, like, I feel like one that's sort of like the house-shaped ones that are kind of like do not enter or something like that you can kind of get a good deal on. You're basically kind of almost skateboarding, snowboarding down there on the thing.
Yeah.
And with the ability to actually accelerate the thing as you go. Nice. Dal, where is Grant when you're taking your classes?
Grant's chilling in my car.
Which is like the whole back seat?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's chilling in there. So I need to go get him because I'm just walking out of my exam.
How do you keep Grant? Because you've said Grant is smart but also kind of dumb. Like,
yeah.
Gotcha. How do you keep Grant occupied when you have to be in class for several hours?
I have like a little like iPad, and you know like you know like the like videos that you play for cats with like the fish. I have for Grant like a video of a bunch of like insects playing.
First of all, everything about that makes me happy. So I want to get that out of the way. Is it possible? Is it likely? It seems likely that since this is an iPad, it's going to be on the same accounts as your phone.
Yeah.
I need you. So your character sheet here. I'm gonna pop this thing up on the screen here real quick. Take a look at it. At the beginning of play, you have a roll to make, and I want to see how this goes. So you have a move called Hunger. Your friend is joined with you, but has an agenda of their own, perhaps parallel, perhaps capricious, perhaps more sinister. They begin with a hunger of 0. At the start of a session, roll plus your hunger. Bloop. Let's see. Okay. That is a 12. Okay. So you get more than just the messages from Chris when you turn your phone back off, because you're also getting messages from Grant. You didn't know that he could do that. So that's new. And it's weird because it looks like they're just text messages from you, like because they're replying, and there's like I don't know which chat app you're using, but like I can text myself in WhatsApp and just have like it's just where I put stuff that I want to remember. In all caps, Grant has replied to Chris, "We are on our way." This is spelled phonetically. We are, the letter R. On is 2 N's. R. Way is just kind of a W and then a series of A's.
Yeah.
But they got the feeling. They got the general idea. Then there is a series of text messages that are in the notes for you chat. That is, we need to do this. This is heroes, and we is heroes. We are going to hero. This is, why aren't you here yet? It's very cold, and we need to hero to warm up. And this is, I don't even want to take a stab at the absolutely stream of excrement that all of the spelling is on this thing, but you get the general idea. There are a number of pictures that are attached. They are all way too close to his face and out of focus. But you get the sense of pleading, like if a dog could take selfies and wants to know why you aren't home yet.
Yeah.
Why is Grant my favorite character?
And to wrap it all up, there is a monster. We have to save it. You can do it. Stop being boring in class. And so I'm going to use all of the hunger points that Grant got. And by hunger, I am essentially interpreting this as boredom. But this is something that rolls at the beginning of every session to see how much basically Grant can fuck with you this session. He's going to do it all at once. So he is going to propose a course of action, which is get your ass to the fight and to the rescuing. And he's going to shift your labels, and you can choose to. So what he's going to do is he's going to make your savior go up by 1 and lower your mundane, because we need to save the people, stop being boring in class.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, I don't want to fight this, sure, whatever, and let the labels go. Or you can say, my dude, you're a frog. And you can try to reject that. The only rule about that is there's one of the options. If you decide to reject what they're trying to tell you to do, you can choose normally to say, well, they don't have influence over me anymore. They can't tell me this stuff. You can never do that with Grant. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Grant always has influence over you. So
Yeah.
as Grant tells you, you need to hero and stop being boring in class. How are you reacting to that? Are you going to reject that? Or are you going to feel the call of heroism from this backseat sized frog?
I'm gonna go with him. I'm a little weirded out that my frog can take selfies. But
that's fair.
He's my best friend, so yeah, I'm gonna go help.
Grant is doing his level best to make sure that you are not normal, because your mundane is now at a -2.
Mm-hmm.
You're very good at dealing with Grant and not so much with other people, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We respect that. Okay, so you pile into you just take the car. Is that your special superhero conveyance is a vehicle?
Yeah. But it's also snowy, so like, so we hop in our little vehicle. We get a block down, and we realize that there is so much traffic because of the snow.
Mm.
And I look back at Grant, and I'm like, "Hey, dude. So you want to like get us past this traffic?" And we hop out of the car, and Grant uses his giant ability to
get even bigger.
I just realized that means that Grant can watch the live streams.
Yeah.
This disturbs me. Okay, the giant ability. All right. So you are literally, Grant is hopping toward the city at maximum, whatever the maximum speed of frogs is. Of giant frogs.
Like, what a giant fucking frog.
Leaping through the snow.
Through like downtown Denver with a poor fucking just teenage girl on his back.
But like, also imagine all of the slime that this frog leaves behind.
Kind of like sticking the snow, all that kind of stuff. Okay. He doesn't want to go.
Do you have like a superheroing outfit, Brooklyn Maple Syrup?
I have a gym suit, a little
a leotard?
A leotard, yep.
This is
one of my practice leotards.
Y'all are gonna have to like invest in those like self-heating jackets with like the battery pack in the pocket to like for just to stay warm in the given the outfit that you have. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've got Patrol has vacated the area here. Patrol takes off across the city, and just as Patrol is doing this, there's a weird like almost like a energy tube sort of opens right about here in the park, and people get kind of blorped out of this thing or shot out of this thing into the snow and everything like that, and they're all like wearing like sort of professional clothing.
Where in the park?
Like kind of over near the stage, like right around this side, between the stage that's over here and the water. We're not going to have, Jamie hasn't dumped anybody into the pond in cold weather yet. All these people have like blorped out of there, and they're all like scrambling to their feet and looking around completely confused. And the last person out of that group is Calamity, who at least Chris remembers the official name for. So up until this point, I'm going to say this is primarily for Chris and Cassie. The thing that came up out of the tower, out of the CID tower, hadn't really been doing anything. It's been sort of doing the full-on like King Kong on top of the Empire State Building thing, where it's like up there and kind of leering around and doing stuff, and occasionally swatting and batting at the supers who are sort of circling the area. And there are a few that are flying around the building and trying to do stuff to them, but it doesn't seem to be having much effect. So there's definitely like a red, white, and blue guy up there with the big cape who's like occasionally doing stuff. All of the people blorp out into the park. We'll go back to the park. Blorp is a highly technical superhero term. Suddenly things get, well, about that same time, things get a lot more agitated at the tower in the distance. So you do see, Charlie, you do see Cassidy, or not, sorry, you do see Chrysolophus right away. Chrysolophus, very easy to spot generally. Wings are outspread. They look like a stained glass window. They are currently flying, and they're nearby. That's usually makes them very easy to spot in any kind of chaotic situation. So scanning the area and just looking at the people you've dumped into the snow, making sure they're okay, looking around and like, oh,
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
inexplicably also has Remedy with them, with like they're gonna do anything useful.
Oh,
Still holding them like a
Remedy,
baby.
right? Yeah.
Kind of up on one arm, kind of like,
What are you guys doing today?
Oh, there's a kaiju in the building. I see you've already been
Yeah.
inside. What's the deal with that handsome man?
He's the Japanese official or something. I don't know.
The monster?
Yeah. I watched him turn into it. Yeah.
You know, I just won't ask. All right.
the entire crowd is shouting various things that may or may not corroborate this story. At least one reporter is like, we didn't actually see him change. We saw him start to change, but he was definitely changing into something. I don't know if it was that, because
I saw him change. You know, you guys were being teleported. I saw him change. Okay, guys? Don't worry about it.
who are you?
Thanks, guys.
I'm the one who just saved your fucking lives.
I mean, thank you, but...
You weren't here 20 minutes ago. You were all dead.
And he's starting to argue with you, and he kind of double takes back towards what's happening up at the tower, because things are happening at the tower.
Anybody seen a cat around here? I'm kind of on a case.
I'm kind of on a case. What's happening at the tower, Papa?
Why don't you... I don't know. In what way are you trying to figure out what's happening at the tower? The eyeball Mark 1?
Using my eyes, yeah.
Okay. All right. It's moving. It has been up there doing the king...
whole tower?
No, the thing, the guy. The little guy is doing a wiggly waggle down the side of the tower, apparently. And... little wiggly waggle. He is moving. He is moving with some speed.
Shit. This is what happens when you change time, guys. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Again, not gonna ask that question.
Do you want to assess the situation to learn more about this, or what do you think there?
Yeah, probably.
All right, so you're taking a look at this, everything that's just happened, kind of scoping things out, and assess the situation. So for those, we're gonna do this at least initially a little bit to kind of for the whole class.
Read for the class.
So assess the situation. When you assess the situation, roll plus superior. On a 10 plus, you can ask 2 questions from the list below. On the 7-9, you can ask 1. You can take plus 1 on any following roll when you act on the answers that you get. So this is you rolling plus superior. Miss 13. You're not mic'd up.
No situational bonuses or penalties?
No situational bonuses or penalties.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Unless you really blow it, in which case either Remedy or Charlie could probably help you.
Hey,
That's a 10.
let's go.
Never need to help the star. A star never needs any help.
What?
I'm lying. Okay, so at a 10 plus, you get to ask one of the 2 questions, or 2 out of the questions on the list. I'm going to do the first one last. So what here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? And how could we best end this quickly? And then the last question is, what here can I use to blank? So fill in the blank with whatever you want to fill in the blank with.
So definitely want to ask, how could I end this quickly? Because I want this to not cause, mass catastrophe.
Okay.
And I have an interview to go to, so I'm busy. And I kind of want to know what here is in the greatest danger.
Okay. All right. The thing that you notice really immediately, the connection that you draw, is that basically as soon as everybody came through the portal to here and they weren't there anymore and they came here, as soon as that happened, that thing started moving. And you're pretty sure it's coming this way. So who is in the greatest danger?
Probably after the ambassadors.
Somebody in this little assembly that's in the park here is probably whoever's in the greatest danger, because this thing is definitely coming this direction. That is that answer. How to best end this quickly. It would be phenomenally bad to kill the kaiju.
Start teleporting each person in different directions and then see where it's going. And then we save everyone else and just let them kill that one guy.
No. But you said it would be phenomenally bad to kill the kaiju.
Well, she missed the. First of all, I want to point out Jamie missed the key word quickly, in that answer. But it would probably be very bad because the thing is, the supers that are up there who seem now to be a lot more agitated about this now that the thing is actually moving. They were kind of willing to kind of keep it busy, and now it's moving. And it's becoming really evident that nothing that they've been doing thus far has really done a lot to affect this thing. So they are amping up by quite a bit. And they don't know that the kaiju is the Japanese, like the head of the Japanese, what's the word I'm looking for?
Ambassador.
Well, the ambassador, but like the head of the whole Japanese contingent to the city. So killing them, potentially bad. Meanwhile, there's one panel in the comic that's showing like above like a Google Maps of the city, and it's like a little pin in it for like where you three are at, and then like a little blinking red dot of Liam coming, and a little blinking green dot of Grant, and that dot's like hopping, and then the brown dot coming from the other direction, and they're all kind of like, while you guys are, looking at all of this.
Can somebody do like a pierce the mask on the ambassadors to figure out which one is the important one? Not that they're not all important breathing human people, but like,
Who do you know that's good at talking to people?
Hi, Remedy.
Hey,
I
Remedy.
need you to figure out who's the important one. Like, who is the monster chasing after?
Why is the monster chasing after all of you? Who do they want?
Which guy do they want?
Are you going to fly Remedy down into the crowd of people there and drop her down there?
Yeah, I'd probably just take her over there and drop her in the group. Or, like,
having discussed this, like, okay. All right. So, the reporters are usually, they're a lot easier to tell apart from the other folks because they're dressed like, business casual. Photographers, the reporters might have probably put a tie on. And then you've got the ambassadors from another country who are trying to give a good impression and culturally don't necessarily mesh with all this. They're all wearing suits or something, appropriate for like a press conference, to give a press conference. So telling them apart, not as big of a deal, not particularly difficult. Cassie, tell me how you're going to approach this. Like, you're clearly somebody, I'm going to say important, air quotes, because the winged person just delivered you down here to this crowd of people and then flew off and say, figure it out quick. And then you walk up. So, but how are you?
I'd probably start by asking them if they're all right. Seems the nice thing to do.
Yeah. They reassure you that they are fine and that they're definitely pulling the, need to play it cool, do not freak out in front of the strangers kind of thing. Why don't you you're good at reading people. I mean, you've been years behind a counter dealing with all these folks. You there's a lot that can be told from body language and facial expressions and also what they don't allow on there. Why don't you give us like sort of a soft read on this and see if you can figure out what's going on without them really even saying anything. And for that, I'm talking about, it's called Pierce the Mask, and it isn't just necessarily superhero masks because everyone wears a mask, right? So that's kind of, should give you sort of, you're asking the question and they're responding, but what are they saying without saying it in all of this?
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need
And
to roll for that?
that is a roll. So you would open up your character sheet there, and what you do for Pierce the Mask, and it kind of has it there underneath the labels. If you look at it, Danger, Freak, Savior, Superior. Under each one of them, it says like which moves go with which label. For this one, it's Mundane, gives you both Pierce the Mask and doing Comfort or Support. It's taken. Well, I'm going to ignore that, but it does actually do the thing. Okay. All right. So it said it got an 8. Okay. So let's take a look at the move real quick. I'm going to pop it up for everybody so we can take a look at it. And it is over here under the basic moves, and that is Pierce the Mask. It's a little bit different than Assess the Situation, where Assess the Situation is like Batman is taking a read of the combat, blah, blah, blah. Pierce the Mask is a lot more feelings. So when you pierce someone's mask to see the person beneath, roll plus Mundane. On the 10 plus, you can ask 3 questions. On the 7 and 9, ask 1. I will tell you one thing, though, just in general, how you're reading the crowd before you look at the questions. Your overall read of the crowd of this group of ambassadors is, while they are agitated, they're concerned, obviously, but they're also not. This is not the first time that they have had to deal with this.
Right,
This
so
is-
they're nervous but not afraid.
well, they could be afraid, but I want you to think of it kind of like Brits in London during World War II and the Blitz. Like, nobody wants a bomb to fall on them, but after a while it becomes somewhat routine. This whole thing where there's suddenly a kaiju chasing them is bad, but it is not the first time this has happened to them. So I'll give you that much, regardless of anything else that you've got going on here. So the Pierce the Mask questions that are up to look at are, and you're talking to these folks, what are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get you to blank? Or how could I get influence over you?
What are you really planning?
Like, kind of what do they really want? What do they have really going on? What do they intend? It's sort of the same thing to a certain extent. Planning is like, to explain the difference there, planning would be like, what is their overall, like, sort of big plan, as opposed to what are you about to do right now?
Right, so clearly because this is not the first time that this has happened to them, they knowingly put a lot of people in danger with the possibility of this happening in a big meeting and didn't inform the other participants about it. So the plan one would probably be a good one to ask, because it's like, what exactly was your long-term goal of bringing someone who was such a danger to other people? Sure, you're used to it, but the other people in the meeting weren't prepared for that, obviously.
So you're immediately jumping to, listen, you obviously knew this was going to happen. What?
Well, they knew there was a possibility.
Yeah, exactly. You obviously are not surprised by this. You obviously knew it was happening. So what's your plan here? Why did you do that? Like, kind of just right out there. Okay.
Because probably in asking them like what they're planning to do, again, if this is not the first time that this has happened, they probably also know of a way to de-escalate it without hurting him.
It's not necessarily like you directly asking them, what are you planning? It's
Well,
more like asking the universe.
It can be, though. It can absolutely be like you taking a look at this. And I picture Remedy kind of like just watching her eyes track back and forth, like looking at the body language. Is like, you knew this was going to happen. Why did you do this if you knew that they were going to do this? Like, what's the plan here? Like, what could you possibly, like, a little bit of almost an outburst? Kind of. Does that sound about right? Does that sound kind of like? Okay.
That sounds about right.
Okay. All right. So they're a little bit like they're surprised more than anything else. And to a certain extent, how much do you think of you reading people isn't just body language, but also seeing literally their body? Like, you can see the flow of their energy and stuff in their body and all this other kind of stuff.
So I can see like their blood pressure spike, and I can see any chemicals going off in their brains to indicate like panic or fear stimuli responses.
Okay. They all kind of they look kind of shocked, and then they all kind of turn to one guy. It's weird because he's not the oldest one. He's not the oldest one here. He's maybe like in his early 20s. He's about your age, probably. He's very well put together. He's still got, even having get shucked through a dimensional portal and dumped out into the snow and everything like that. He seems to be like pretty well, bigger guy. And I apologize for the confusion. The ambassador is also, and he uses a phrase that you don't know unless, does Remedy speak Japanese?
No.
Okay. He uses a phrase, apologies. He is the host of our greatest guardian, but he can only host for a third of a life before he loses the ability to contain the Guardian. And it should not be so soon. He should not be losing control, but he has been. And part of the reason that we were here were to ask for help with the transition to the new host. But it is too soon. And if we transition now, it will fail and the Guardian will be unfettered. We must move the new host away in a way that he cannot sense, or convince him that the new host has gone away, and he turns back and he says something in Japanese to one of the other people. 13 minutes from now, he should subside. Wait, no, that's... Wait,
Question. Am I hearing this right now?
Sure. I don't know. If you haven't gone anywhere, then probably there's part of that. You're catching at least part of it. In fact, I want to point out, is it Bradley? Bradley, you've been kind of like in the park. You're observing all of this. So the kaiju is coming. It's after these people somehow. These people got teleported in from that tower. The kaiju is coming for them. They need to keep the kaiju away from these people. The immediate problem being is you keep porting these folks along away from this thing. He's just going to keep rampaging through the city, and that is currently happening. And that we'll get to that here in just a second. But yeah, that's happening. I'm going to pause you right here because we've got two folks that we haven't done anything with, and we're almost at 9 here. So, Kaylee, you dropped off Remedy and swooped and went where?
Ooh, probably towards the tower.
Okay, cool. So you're kiting down the street, not at full speed by any stretch of the imagination because you're watching this thing. And this thing, looking down the street straight at the building, you can see it is most of the way down the building and it is pulling itself along. And there's a ton of stuff happening. It's just a flurry of activity. There's like massive ice incrustation happening to this thing, sort of spontaneously. There's blasts hitting it, which are getting in the way of the ice. Like the ice holds it for a second, and then something else blasts it, and that knocks the ice down, and it starts to move again. And it's doing it's got like 8 legs, and and so it's starting to come down through the thing. Liam, you are literally snowboarding down the street leading up to the CID, and you come in like you're basically under Chris flying along. She's maybe 10, 15 feet above you, and you're like slush go. You ever see the cars where they go through the slush that hasn't really been cleared and it's just plowing in every direction and getting all over fucking everything?
Yeah.
Not that I'm bitter because I had to wash this off my car today, but so that's happening, but you get a little bit of a back because bounding in from a side street with a mighty splash is the massive frog. Gerald Grant, you don't remember the name, but the girl is on his back, and the frog hits and the splash is the thing. Just as you were about to say something, like, so what clever thing were you in the process of calling up to Chris just as you were interrupted by like road slush in your face? How were you almost suave at just the right moment?
How were you almost suave?
The issue is I'm just almost suave most of the time. I'm not clever enough for this.
I don't think that's the issue. I gotta disagree on that one.
Hey there, do you need a...
Hey up there, you need a hand up there.
As you're like swerving into the thing.
That.
So looking down, you can see he's like skating along on a road sign, and the frog is bounding along, and the thing is coming. Just as you've been getting the sense here that the supers up ahead are definitely escalating things, and you see that you're maybe 2 blocks away, and you see patrol like basically drop straight down in front of this thing. And how familiar are you with patrol? Like actually, like other than just your encounter, do you know what their deal is? Like what they're...
She probably has like basic stats in her head of most popular superheroes.
So the way you summarize him pretty much is power suit with a badge. Okay. But what happens with him is he drops down to about 5 or 6 feet off of the pavement, and he shouts, well, what it sounds like is a recording of him saying stand down, but the level on this blows out the windows for 3 blocks in every direction and cracks the pavement he's under and along the buildings. It is...
My wing?
I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily affecting you at this point, but definitely everything shakes for a second. Like you guys all wobble and like shit because it is literally a blast of wind. So you probably would have. It's really more about the air pressure than the sound at this point. And also, your wings aren't really glass, are they? Not really,
Yeah.
really. They're not really glass. But it is loud enough to make people cover their ears back at the park. And he is pulling out all stops in a pretty, like, there's probably not people around, but this is pretty significant building damage right there in the middle of the street. And the thing kind of screams and brings its head back, and then it swallows him.
That's really bad.
It's a weird mouth, right? It goes a long ways back ahead. It's the mouth is too big on a head that it's too big. And it basically scoops him up, and when it closes his mouth, he's already pretty well inside of the thing.
Oh.
And then it starts coming. So what Liam, you're skating straight at this thing. What's she doing? Having no real background other than this is a kaiju and superheroes are fighting it and apparently having a rough time.
Could I attempt to take the metal that I'm like jump off my my makeshift snowboard and try and mold the metal into a form of like almost a jack.
You probably
and call up to.
Go ahead, keep going. No, keep going. Tell me what your plan is.
Like to call to Kaylee and try and like tell her to put it in, try and get in the creature's mouth so we can jack open the creature's mouth.
I think the problem that first of all, it's a fantastic idea. It will absolutely work. The issue is one of scale. The sign's not enough. The mouth is huge. You need cars. Luckily, you've got some, and you have ferrokinesis, so she doesn't necessarily need to help you with this. But yeah, basically, you need to jam several cars in this thing's mouth, and then force it open with that by elongating them. It's not going to be elegant. It's certainly not going to look like a jack, but it could definitely function like one.
Yeah, I don't need elegance, just need functionality.
Yeah, there are cars parked along this thing. They're all snowy and stuff, but you can feel the metal.
Literally
And
awful.
now with shattered windows.
Can I also try and like specifically pick out the more expensive cars?
You can 100% absolutely do that. So there's a move. We're going to talk later. There's a move that you can do that's basically like you get an extra option off of one of the directly engage and that kind of stuff if you break shit that you don't actually need to break. So basically like you get more options off the engage. Even if you miss, you still get to pick something as long as you fuck shit up. So that may be your jam. Okay, so what this is a directly engaged because you are directly engaging this thing. You aren't necessarily going to fisticuffs, but you are definitely trying to go toe to toe with this thing as you're coming in. So you kind of slide in and kind of skid to a stop and do the thing. And whether or not you're necessarily prepped for this mentally, you're going to give it a swing. And for this, I'm going to direct you to your character sheet. When you directly engage a threat, roll plus your danger. On a hit, you will trade blows. It's important to understand, and this is going to be really important for anybody who's ever played D&D or really any other role-playing game. There's Powered by the Apocalypse games that are like what Masks is built on, work differently. But most role-playing games, I roll stuff. Powered by the Apocalypse, I don't ever touch the dice. It's not my problem. So when there is a fight or an exchange of whatever, it's all about your dice. I hurt you if you don't roll well enough, basically. My attacks are kind of rolled right in, so the action is all rolled into your dice. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. So for directly engage a threat, you roll to directly engage a threat. You roll danger. On a hit, you will trade blows. On a 10 or higher, you pick 2 of these items off the list. On a 7 to 9, you get to pick 1 of the things off the list. Okay. Is your goal here to kind of get the mouth open so Patrol can get back out, so the guy who swallowed can get back out?
That is the goal.
That is the general idea. Okay.
Question: why are we saving Patrol again?
Instinct. He's a hero.
I don't want him to die. I might not particularly like him. I don't think I know enough about him right now.
Kiernan's character has become soft.
I don't want another life to die.
It's less that he's a bad guy and more just that he's annoying per se.
Also, if you give him an easy entrance, then he's not cutting his way out of the Japanese ambassador.
This is an excellent point.
I guess that's fair.
To be fair, Liam does not know that this thing is the Japanese ambassador. He is not up on current events.
Which is why it's so much more genius.
Okay. So for directly engage a threat, what you need to do, you want your character sheet open.
Roll danger.
And then we look at the result, which is an excellent 11, which is really, really good. All right, so that's going to be good for you. So when you go back, we're going to pop back over to that, to the basic moves and take a look at that thing. There are 4 things you can pick. You get 2 of them off the list. A very nice one in this particular instance is resist or avoid their blows, which means you don't get hurt back. Okay, so that's tasty. It's always attractive, especially when you're fighting something particularly dangerous. Take something from them. For instance, a dude in a power suit.
The ability to close his jaw.
Yeah, well, okay. Create an opportunity for your allies, which would potentially give somebody an option that they wouldn't otherwise have. I'll be honest right here and just kind of pull the veil aside for a second and give you an idea of what that would be. Nobody can hurt this thing. Okay, its abilities start with absolutely, completely invulnerable to damage, full stop, period. This could create an opportunity where you could actually hurt it. So that could be the thing that you could do. And finally, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition, which if you want to do that, by all means, you should. That would definitely move you to the top of the aggro list. So choose with care. But there are certainly benefits to that too. There's things that happen there too.
Choose with care.
I think the first one I want to do is take something from them, i.e. being patrol.
Excellent.
And I think not knowing that we can't kill this thing, I would love to create an opportunity for my allies.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so neat. I love everything about this. Okay, so do you want to describe how this looks, or do you want me to give you like the big picture? It's your guy, so if you want to describe the coolness here, by all means, tell me how this thing looks.
I'd like to give it a shot.
All right, so let's see. What does this look like when you?
So I think first I noticed there's a Mercedes-Benz and maybe a Tesla and maybe a Ferrari a little further down, and I pick up the 3 of them. And when the creature goes to scream, shove them in his mouth and then elongate them as wide as I can, propping the jaw open, and kind of create a little ladder out of some of maybe the roofs kind of peel off, create a little scoop or ladder for patrol to climb up. And I think when this happens, it exposes the soft flesh of its stomach that seems to be...
Well, actually, I'm going to say for that, it's the inside of the mouth itself. There's like pulsing veins and stuff like in the upper part of its like roof into the palate of its mouth and stuff like that are definitely not that durable stuff that the outside of the thing is definitely made. So the mouth itself is actually, because this is big, you could pull an entire double-decker bus into this thing when its mouth is open. It's a cave with teeth and halitosis. So it is a phenomenally big thing. Okay.
At this point, did Chris probably say something about the fact that we can't kill this thing?
Well, you don't know. I mean, you know that the supers have been like peppering it with stuff, but you don't know that it's actually. I'm telling you this from behind the scenes. There is a barrier to overcome before you can hurt this thing.
Okay. You're right. I wouldn't know because I left the conversation before we discovered that quirky little fact.
Well, it hasn't come up in any kind of in-character way, except for maybe if you were on the channel with the exemplars or the Patriots, you would know. But otherwise, nah. All right.
Not like can't hurt it as in like you cannot physically injure it. I mean like can't hurt as in like that's the fucking Japanese ambassador.
Oh,
don't
right.
Build it.
Not can't hurt, but don't hurt.
Yeah, I thought I told Kat or Valerie.
Yes, you do know he's the ambassador. That part you know because you guys were shouting back and forth about he didn't eat the ambassador. He is the ambassador. That part you guys you know. The part where the other ambassador or whoever that young guy is, I will say for everybody else, the thing that Chris doesn't know is if this guy is killed somehow, the creature will be unfettered. Unfettered is the phrase that he used.
But so he did say though that in if we just keep him distracted for 13-ish minutes, he'll go back to normal. Except his sense of time is wrong because I teleported him 20 minutes into the future.
Correct.
Which means he doesn't know how far into the future he went, Was he thinking 13 minutes from when
I have to do a comic book retcon. He said 33 minutes.
Fuck. Okay, so it's actually 13 minutes because 33 minus 20. Boom.
Dak's in there. Things open. We're going to get patrol loose. An opportunity has been created for your allies. I just thought
Is that all the heroes here, or just those of us with free will?
It is 100%. What do you mean free will? The NPCs have way more free will than you want them to have. I guarantee. Okay, so Patrol is like, he immediately regains his flight capabilities and starts zooming back out of this thing. This thing is like fighting. It's like, ah! And it lashes and just, it's been doing this thing. So it's really kind of unclear how far it can reach with those limbs when they straighten out and the big clawy bits get down there and swat you like a handball into the side of a Macy's. So
make sure I tell everyone that I think we only have to keep it distracted for 13 minutes. At least do my best to tell everyone that's around me. Be like, hey, so the guy that said 33 minutes, his time was wrong.
Okay.
So just if we play a game with the kaiju for 13 minutes, everything will be fine then.
After, and now we're going to cut back to everybody who needs to know that, who definitely is too far away to hear that. So, Liam, we're going to introduce you to one of the other moves in that basic move sheet that I keep popping up in front of everybody's face. So we're going to show that to you again.
I know this one. teacher, call on me. I know this one.
Take a powerful blow is in the bottom right of the sheet. When you take a powerful blow, you will roll.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, you will like it less in the current playbook that you're in. So when you take a powerful blow, you roll, and this is an interesting one. You roll and you add the current number of conditions that you have. So this gets worse the more hurt that you are. Right now, you're probably fine. On the other hand, this is a very similar roll to Brooke rolling hunger for the frog, and she managed to roll a 12 out of the gate. Good job. This is an interesting one because for this one, it's much better for you if you roll low. So another way of thinking of this is essentially you're rolling the attack for the bad guy. So it's in your best interest for this dice to come out bad. Okay?
Okay.
So take a powerful blow, you roll plus your conditions marked on a 10 plus. We'll figure out the consequences here in a second. So on your sheet, and you can hit that little dice there next to conditions, and it will do the conditions roll for you. And that is, oh God, it's a 10.
Oh no.
Okay.
Welcome to the potential game.
Well, no, potential is when you roll low. You don't get potential for this. You just get this is gonna rattle his molars a little bit. All right. Okay, so we're gonna pop back over to the move again, and we're gonna go take a powerful blow. Now there are times when you can defend people, but this is not one of those because this is just a consequence of the previous thing.
This is not one of those times.
This is not one of those times. So when you take a powerful blow, you roll plus conditions. On a 10 plus, you choose from this list. You have to remove yourself from the situation by fleeing, getting knocked the fuck out, etc. You lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way. We call that one the Dark Phoenix option. And the last option is you take two options from the list below, the 7 to 9 list. So the options on the 7 to 9 list are you lash out verbally, provoking a teammate to do something foolhardy, or you take advantage of your influence and inflict a condition by making them feel bad for the fact that you just got the shit kicked out of you. You give ground and your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain and mark two conditions. Now, again, you have to pick, if you do that option, you got to pick two things off of there. So one of those things is marking multiple conditions, but that's still another thing that you got to pick besides that, or you pick one of the other things that are like, Kieran, having looked at the, I'm going to say, smorgasbord of crap laid out before you to pick and choose from, what looks less terrible or most appropriate? Now, again, I want to point out, if you remove yourself from the situation, simply means you get knocked cold with 20 minutes left in the session, which is not that big a deal. You could also flip out and lose control of yourself in a terrible way. That's, we're in session 2. We might as well just make it as bad as possible right away. There's a lot of options here.
I mean, see, the least shit one to me seems to be knock the fuck out.
That is probably like, because I can see you absolutely like sitting there going, yes, wham, and just you don't have time to get a shield up. You don't have time to get like something to cradle you as you're smashing into the nothing. You just basically bounce.
Just
in whack. All my time of take of powerful blows, I truly, honestly don't think I've ever knocked myself out.
You basically cradle yourself from the claw. It's the wall behind you. Much like falling off a cliff, it's not the fall that gets you, it's the sudden stop at the end. Okay, so.
KO.
KO. You still create an opportunity for your allies, and as Patrol is exiting the mouth of this thing with the metal, and it's just starting to crush, because as Liam hits, the metal in the cars and stuff starts to crush, like it's not being held anymore, and he's going out of the thing. Patrol, like, blasts a massive, like, sonic, full-on Blue Beetle with both guns kind of sonic blast up into the mouth of this thing. Flesh tears and blood and viscera spraying, like, there's a lot of saliva.
The ambassador.
Like, out. I say viscera, like the saliva, but when the saliva hits the building, it starts to melt into the stone. Patrol's suit is smoking, to be fair, and actually looks like it has some patches and like damage and holes in it and stuff from the short amount of time it was in the thing's mouth. I will say, I will give you an opportunity here. Either one of you, because at this point in time, like, that's the ambassador. Like, okay, Chris had time to say that's the ambassador. I would give you the opportunity, if you want to take it, to try to stop Patrol from blasting this guy. You're not close enough to do this.
I can't teleport him?
You're still with the crowd, and it's not like...
Can I make an effort to Princess carry Patrol away?
Before he does the blast?
Or just like fucking barrel into him, try and knock him out of the way.
Question.
Yes.
Could Grant use his froggy fly catching skills and just like kind of go for the Patrol guy? Just like stick out his tongue and
yoink him?
That would be so much more effective. I like that better.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be more effective. It would be at least 70% funnier.
Most definitely. And isn't that what we live for?
Okay. So, without really even thinking, Chris says, that's the ambassador! What do you say to Grant? Like, what's the, like...
Nom.
Fetch?
Are you hungry?
Nom the cop.
Nom the cop. Eat the cops.
Okay. So, what you're basically doing is rolling to protect... You are protecting the Kaiju.
Mm-hmm.
From the superheroes.
Yeah.
God, I love this game.
Top notch. I am 100% behind everything that's going on here. On your character, this is the same thing as the defend roll that we did earlier. So basically you roll, you're going to roll and you're going to add your superior. We did defend with somebody else here. So what you're doing is you hit the little dice thing next to your superior not your superior. I lied. Sorry. Brain, ignore brain. Brain should have said savior because savior is for defending. So you're going to roll your savior and see how that goes.
Okay.
I create an opportunity for my allies. My ally is going to shoot the ambassador. I stop my allies from doing the... that is a 10. Okie dokie. All right. So for the defend move here, I'm going to just try to get this thing to open. It's really lagging for me. I saw it. Defend someone. You keep them safe and choose one. So you get one item off the list. You don't have a condition to clear. You could add team to the pool, which is sort of a pool of points that people can use to help each other out with. Or you could take influence over somebody that you protect, which is to say, later, assuming that he lives, the ambassador from Japan will personally be grateful to you and listen to things that you have to say to them.
I think that sounds pretty damn good.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a note on your character sheet here that you have influence over Patrol. No, not Patrol. The Japanese ambassador. That could come up later. So Patrol is yoinked back. He he makes a very undignified sound, and it's on loudspeaker, which makes it really kind of echo. And he ends up with like his body. He's big and he's in metal, and Grant's big, but he's like there's his head and like both of his feet and one of his arms is still kind of sticking out of Grant's mouth, like Grant's mouth, and then Grant goes and finishes like. And then he kind of, and then he looks at,
spit him out.
He looks at you kind of like, if I don't know if you have dogs, but he looks at you like a dog that has put something in his mouth and he knows he's in trouble for it, but he's not sure. Does he swallow it the rest of the way? Does he spit it out? What do we?
Yeah, like the spit it out. That's not food. That's friend.
Eat the cops, not eat.
Fish
Just
are friends.
Just
Fish are friends.
Cops are friends, not food. Okay, this is all going very well. I'm very proud of all of you. Good job.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I put the kaiju in a big cage?
In a big
with
cage?
Like a gadget? Yeah,
That...
so like it would be like a little ball that you throw at him, and then it turns into a big cage when it hits him.
Like a Pokemon ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try. It may keep him busy for a while. I was about to cut back to that crew, so let's take a look at what we've got back at the park, because there is a little bit of distance between y'all, and there's. I like how people are adding stuff to the kaiju on the screen, but I am unfortunately going to shift everybody over.
I am yossifying him.
Yossifying him?
Yeah, I'm yossifying him. Like Yas Queen.
Oh my god. All right, we're switching back over to the park. So, Remedy has accrued...
It's alright, I can work with this.
Remedy has accrued critical information, is down here in the park. We're going to say that Chris is also near here. You need a tiny little, like, well, they're already blue, so I don't know, a purple one.
Not Chris,
Charlie. Calamity.
Yeah.
So yeah, Calamity's there, Chris is there, and unbeknownst to others, Bradley is also there and kind of like, just kind of quietly nearby and sort of listening in on everything. Jamie, didn't you take influence over somebody when you defended them?
That I did. Do I know who? I don't. But I did take influence.
You're going to get, hang on, influence over the gentleman known as Kei Narita. I will put it in chat. So Kei Narita is the young,
Who are they?
He is the guy in the suit who is like not nearly the oldest ambassador there, but the one who seems to be the one answering all the questions. He was the one to basically explain kind of all of this. I know exactly who he looks like. Put this guy in a suit. I'm going to put him in the voice chat so you can click on him and see him. But it actually looks like he popped up. Put him in a suit.
Hello, sailor.
Yeah, he's pretty. Aside from anything else, if you happen to care that if you're somebody who care about he's being pretty, he's pretty. And he looks really good in a suit. He's also extremely polite. So anyway, he explains, like, basically he's explained this thing about the, needing to get people the new vessel or something away, because this thing can detect that, and it will pursue for a half an hour, it will pursue 1 minutes now. It will pursue if it's anywhere nearby, as much as this entire island, it will know, and possibly more. Sometimes it can be tricked, but that is difficult. And we need to get her away, because if it reaches her now, it will be extremely bad. And when she says her, he takes like this person who's been kind of lurking behind him and brings her forward. And so yeah, this in here and one more time in the voice chat, because I just can't stop doing it. We've got the person that he brings forward who is in like a nice kind of pantsuit kind of situation. She's maybe 17, 16.
I take back what I was about to say.
Okay, so weird question, because I just need all the information before I come up with my final plan.
Mm-hmm.
When were you born? I'm talking to the girl, by the way.
I did. She kind of like nods very helpfully and then looks at the guy and.
Jamie, you cannot go back and unbirth her.
No. Don't worry about that. That's not what I'm doing. But when
she will turn 17 in 33 days.
Okay. Some weird happening with all these threes, but okay. So
33
we can trick
minutes,
him, right?
33 days. She turned 17 in 30.
Okay, so that was intentional?
Mm-hmm.
So we could trick him, right? Slash, we can also just, if she's not here, people forget that time is also a direction. So my two ideas are either we like go back in time and wait, but then that doesn't make sense because I could just go forward in time till after the next 11 minutes are over and she's gone for these next 11 minutes. It kind of doesn't really make sense, but it does if you don't think about it.
It could be, there are very specific time structures around those who contain the Guardian. If those time structures are modified in any way, it could have catastrophic consequences. Even to,
Yeah.
I mean, it may work. It could also be, I can't even.
Look, man, traveling through time is like a roll of the dice. Quote from Umbrella Academy. So, we'll leave it up to that.
I do appreciate you citing your sources.
You're welcome.
She's so her, yeah. Every time she expresses an opinion about time travel, it's essentially like a thesis paper. So
Has anybody got a better idea? Probably.
I'm gonna
I'm not hearing any.
I'm gonna physically insert Brooklyn's character into this, and have somebody who's been standing off to the side go, I might, and we're gonna stop, and we're gonna stop there. So,
Sit.
So yeah, you turn and you see her character who has yet to be described in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to keep them off frame for this one. But I mean, we have a trickster who does stuff and tricky things, and we need to trick the kaiju. I feel like she could probably throw her 2 cents in there. It could be a combination of time travel and
nobody has explained how we trick a fucking kaiju. Like, what's its brain level? Like,
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
Thanks. Very helpful.
That's a problem for Brooklyn to solve. I just create these problems. I don't solve them.
Right.
And the reason I'm wrapping up with 7 minutes to spare is we need to do the end of the session stuff. And at least 2 of the people here haven't done it before. So first of all, it's a little crazy with 6 people. I don't know that I've run a game with 6. So there's a lot happening. Your patience is appreciated. I'm going to try to, once people are now physically all in the same location, it'll be a little bit easier to bounce around, and don't think that you can't leave people around. This is not a kind of game where you worry about splitting the party, but glad that I at least got everybody to kind of get dice to hit the ground, and in some cases, make their bodies hit the ground. Thank you. Thank you, Kiernan. Very helpful. At the end of the session, this is in the peripheral modes right up there at the top. Choose one. You choose, each one of you, we go around and do this for everybody. You just decide whether or not you grow closer to the team. Explain who made you feel welcome, give influence to that character, and you get to clear a condition or mark potential if you do that. Grow into your own image of yourself. Explain how you see yourself and why you see yourself that way, and then you can choose to shift one of your labels up and one of your labels down to sort of fall in line with how you see yourself. And finally, you can choose, I have grown away from the team. Explain why you feel detached. Take influence over you away from another character. And this isn't on the sheet, but whoever you take influence away from, that person gets a point of potential. They get XP, which is why Dal has a point of XP, because thanks to Kaylee, Remedy started feeling very alienated about this whole thing, because apparently everybody formed up a team and didn't tell her. To be fair, Chris didn't tell anybody else. And I was like, well, who do you take influence away from? And she's like, well, Kaylee. I'm like, Kaylee didn't have influence, so it's got to be somebody else. And she's like, okay, the one with the creepy frog, which means that you get a point of potential that you already have. All right, so nobody rolled a failure the entire night.
Nice.
I know. Nice. I'm really sad about not getting any advancements.
Yeah, one of the things that happens in the game, and this is kind of important, is if you roll like a 6 or lower, you don't. It's a bad roll. Bad things happen, but you also get a point of XP. So if you roll really poorly, you can level. Failure.
3.
Yeah, you learn a lot from your failures in this game. That's how it's built out. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time and start with Kaylee. So Kaylee, Closer to the team, further away from the team, or more into your own image of yourself? What makes the most sense for you today? You're on mute, or you didn't mic up.
Closer to the team.
Okay. Who made you feel close to the team and more welcome? Was it one of your people who showed up after your series of texts?
I could either do. I did Remedy last time.
True.
So I would find it funny to do Celtic Bull just because of that bullshittery. I think it's funny.
How he rolled up and was like, "Hey, you need some help? I'm gonna just come in here." Sure, I dig it.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Do you have any? You didn't take a condition yet, because why would you? You're not doing it. No. Kidding. So you get to mark a point of potential, and that's it. Wait, actually, we need to check and see, does Liam already have influence over you? Because Liam, you get influence over
No, he
Chris.
doesn't.
So what you do is open up your character sheet on Roll20 and scroll down a little bit, and on the left-hand side it says, I have influence over blah, blah, blah. Actually,
I have nothing.
No, because everybody has influence over me, I thought.
Okay, so we can put in, you're right, Charlie, and we are going to add,
Remedy's also in there as well because of she picked 3 teammates and he's one of the 2.
What it is we just didn't update your page because you weren't there, so we were like, I was forgetful. So you had influence over Charlie and Remedy. You now also have influence over Chrysalopus. The reason that we do that is because if she gives you influence and you already have influence, then how you see her has even more impact on her, and you get to shift her labels. But that doesn't happen.
Do I also get potential for that, Dad?
Yeah, you get a point of potential. You don't get to shift her labels this time because you just got the influence. But if it happens again, for whatever reason, you can shift her labels, which is tends to happen quite a bit as we go forward because, people are handing influence back and forth. All this kind of stuff happens.
4 or 5 out of potential.
4 or 5, you might level next time. You might ding. If you roll really bad, I'll ding you off at the side of a building and then you'll ding.
Woo!
Ching! I wonder if you will ring like one of those little crystal wine glasses if I smack you against a building.
Most definitely.
Anyway. All right, so that is you. You get to mark potential, and we will do Charlie. Charlie, closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
I'm going to say close to the team for one reason only. When I said hi to Chris, they said hi back, and they remembered my name. It's the simple things in life.
Chris, do you have influence over Charlie?
Yes.
Everybody does.
That's right. Everybody has influence over Charlie. Okay, you can choose to shift her labels, and Chris, you can either clear a condition or you can mark a point of potential.
I want to ding.
Sorry, not Chris.
Condition.
Charlie.
Damn it.
Charlie, you can mark a point of potential or clear a condition. Chris, you can shift Charlie's labels.
I will probably move your savior up.
I've had, or should I just mark?
I'll do it. I can do it.
I savior up? Dang, that's a condition then.
Sure is. We're gonna hang on for just a second. All right. So, So we're gonna give you a point of potential. And what'd you say, Kaylee? Savior up and something else down?
Superior down.
Superior down.
Wait,
okay.
Why'd you give me potential? Wait, no, don't mark potential. I just unmarked my condition.
Oh, you unmark your condition. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So.
Yeah.
So what was the condition that you had? Afraid? Okay. So the thing, and I want everybody to know that Kaylee asked for this. I've done this a couple different ways in different Mouse games, but this one is sort of a double blind, so people can't see each other's character sheets. She thought it would, and I did this in the first game. We couldn't see what everybody's stats were. So if somebody tries to shift your labels and they try to move them and they can't go that way. Like, I want to lower the stat, but it's already at -2, and that's as low as it can go. Or I want to raise the stat, and it's already at 3, and that's as high as it can go. If somebody says, I need you to really be a protector and a savior, and you're thinking in the back of your head, I am fucking doing everything I can, man, you actually take a condition from that. Now, you can fight it in the middle of the game if some adult tells you this. You can kind of resist it and try not to take that consequence. But here, where it's your friends and it's happening outside the game, that shit just happens. So.
And I'm going to mark guilty.
Because you
feel. I didn't realize that you were at a 3.
Yeah.
That's part of the game, man.
I thought you were a 2.
We actually had people who were trying to do the move that lets them lock their conditions so they can't be moved up, and just to keep this from happening as much. But at least for a while, maybe as you guys get to know each other, I'll make your character sheets visible to each other. But for right now, you don't know each other, so I just like the idea of you potentially like actually causing a little bit of trauma and
That's
guilt
fun.
and conditions and stuff from like, yeah, man, I just feel like you really you could step up as a protector, and that'd be great. Like, bitch, I am doing
I
everything
like
I
it being
can.
something that you like kind of unlock later.
Well, I like that. That's fun. We'll think about that. Since Josephine has already done this before, I will ask Josephine to do it again.
I would say probably move closer to the team.
Okay. Who made you feel like you were kind of part of the team?
The only person I interacted with this whole game was Chris. So Chris gets influence over me for one round only, and then I'm taking it away again.
Okay. Kaylee, mark on your character sheet that you have influence over over Remedy. Remedy, you don't have a condition, so you can take a point of potential. There's a potential checkboxes down in the bottom left on your character sheet that you can check, and when you hit 5, you get a level up. The mighty ding. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Lovely. We're gonna wait for the person who's unconscious for last. We'll save him for last. So, Dal, Springer, and Grant, closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
I feel that Dal grew closer into her own image.
Okay. Awesome.
She kind of like stepped into the position of like, oh, I'm a like hero now, and like people need me, and like that's something that I've kind of come to terms with now. Like people
Love
need
it.
me and my huge frog. Yeah.
I dig it. All right. So
I mean, you fully just saved the guy, so like, you know.
So what
Exactly.
you do basically is you go into your character sheet and you can change one of your labels up and one of your labels down. So you just kind of you do the point totals come out to the same, but you can kind of shift it. So if you think like, oh, I'm totally like protecting people, I'm going to move my savior up, and I'm not really doing this other thing, so I'm going to move this down. It caps out at 3 is the highest and -2 is the lowest. You can eventually get more points, but the caps are the same regardless.
Okay.
Cool. That's all you have
Sounds
to do.
good.
And finally, that was actually really cool, though. I mean, so far you're the only one that actually seriously affected the kaiju. So good job there.
Funnily enough, I think that's hurt my self-esteem a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I think getting kind of rushing in there and getting knocked out almost immediately has hurt my feelings a little bit. I think I might grow into my own image a little bit.
Okay, grow into your own image. Awesome. All right. So same thing. You just adjust your labels.
The ego hit is what makes you grow into your own image.
You know, I'm not feeling that close. I was feeling pretty good. I'm sliding up there. I'm like, the slush is coming, and I'm underneath the flying superhero, and I'm heading towards the thing. It's going to be awesome, and I do the thing, and then and the next thing I know is I wake up
being suave as fuck.
in a hospital.
Yeah, fuck.
I wake up in a hospital, maybe, assuming somebody picks me up off the sidewalk. This is where
yeah, I'll pick him up for sure. If I forget, I can just go back.
So this is where you get like a voice call, a voice chat from Remedy gets a voice chat from Chris like, we need help up here. Maybe
also, sorry.
Go ahead.
Total tangent. If you look in the meme page, I did a little drawing.
Oh, in the memes or in the character pic? Okay.
In the memes.
The meme of like the blurry picture of the frog in the camera. That is good stuff right there. That is top notch.
He's a ginger.
Did you see it in the memes, Kaylee?
He's a ginger. Yes, I saw the meme, but he's a ginger, and I think that's funny.
Liam's a ginger. Yeah, I thought you said she's a ginger. I'm like, no, that's brown hair. I'm pretty sure.
Also,
okay.
I've decided that Grant has a Reddit page, a Ribbit page.
A Ribbit page. Oh my God. He doesn't have an Instagram account?
Incredible.
I think oh my God. I think Kaylee's character needs to help me out with that. Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah.
That is so true.
That is outstanding. I don't know.
Grant the stud.
My God. Swallowed a superhero his first time out. No possible problems there. Definitely Al and Grant.
It's Patrol. We'll forgive him.
you'll forgive him. I don't think that's the real problem. I think you may misunderstand the actual challenge there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have fun tomorrow. It is Monday, so I say have fun. Survive. See you guys.
Bye, Dad. Love you.
Love
Bye.
you too.
Bye.
Love you.